Hello, so we're just waiting for people to join here. So I'm going to screen share my desktop. So Chrome, okay, share that. And so I first want to show you guys what's going on with the Google Classroom. And so I'm going to be posting when Zoom meetings are. Zoom meetings are going to happen on Tuesday, Thursdays. This is subject to change. I'll try to provide enough time to let you guys know when they are changing to, but they're going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays as of right now. Things are changing daily. I'm getting different emails telling me to do different things daily. So I'm trying to keep up with it, as I'm sure you guys are as well. As far as due dates, really don't worry about the due date. I'm actually going to give you through next week. I did want to give you guys a chance to hopefully get in rough drafts by this week so I can read over them, and I've started reading over them. I have definitely not read over all of them, and I'm sorry if I haven't read yours yet. You'll get a notification when I return that. But basically my goal, electricity, will be our next unit. You guys can't see that yet because there's nothing in it. But let's say you're still stuck and you're still doing your research. So for your research, things that you want to do. So you can handwrite it or attach or use a document. It doesn't really matter. And so for your research, you want to write some challenges. So for example, they are doing Save the Polar Bears. And so they're focusing, I'm assuming, on ice albedo, although it looks like they're going extreme here with a lot of different things. So a challenge is that the ice is melting, so therefore polar bears decreasing population. Marine fisheries are also being affected by the acid in the waters and affecting the humans. And so proposal is then, well, what could their research on what could be done to solve it? And so while this, for example, is good, and I would give it full credit to be honest, it's always good to try to include cite your sources. So for example, if I am commenting on yours, I would say things like cite your sources, include where you got things from. Because even when you're writing papers to people, you want to make sure you can tell them where you got that information from. Because if you're just saying, oh, this is really important because this is true, well, what proves that that's true? Who says that that's true? In this day and age, people tend to be a lot more skeptical of information. So let's look at, and so yeah, same thing with Cameron's I just looked at earlier, because I think he just turned it in today. So this, like, good stuff, but I need a little bit more. Like, what do you mean renewable fuels? What's going on there? And so your research guide is really, this is where you can honestly cut and paste things. This would be the place where you cut and paste and then say, sorry, participants are in my way. So this would be the place here in the research guide where you can show, I'm still trying to get used to these things. So there we go. So this would be the place where you would show all of your writing. You can cut and paste things that you find. That's fine. Just, again, make sure you cite your sources. So feel free to cut and paste here, like, oh, I found this information about my subject and this information. And then make sure you include this on your stuff, especially the letter you're sending, as far as who you're sending it to. If you're having trouble finding a specific organization that matches, let me know. I'm going to be commenting on your guys' stuff. To be honest, probably mostly today, tomorrow, and this weekend is when I'm going to finally sit down and get to do a lot of this work. I spent 5 hours at school today gathering lab materials. And I'm also in charge of the entire physics department and getting all of the old people in my department online.
Excuse me, is this sixth grade
so
algebra?
Sorry that I haven't been very attentive to your guys' needs. But that should hopefully start changing as everyone's starting to learn the technology, so I don't have to help teach them how to teach online anymore. Do we have any questions about how the research guide can or should look? Again, there's no one right answer here. But basically, I would like in general to be a little more fleshed out than this, because this is all of your research, and that way you don't have to do any more research after this. So I think you are free to unmute yourselves. Do you guys have any questions about the research guides? And if you would like to get your research guide back so that you can edit it, just write a private comment on that research guide and asking me to return it to you, and I will return it to you. Because if you print it in, you'll find that you can't edit it, because by turning it in, you gave me the right to change it. Yeah, Tehran?
So the person that we're representing, is that a choice of our own, or like?
You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. I see that you have a hand up. Let me see if stopping the share will let you talk. Maybe that's what's doing it.
Can you hear me now?
Tehran? Question? Can't hear. Vitalis, I don't know if I can help you with that. Mr. Coy, tell us the grading system is going to be after the lesson. Yeah, so great. I'll add that to the docket, Yoselin. Yeah, so we could talk about how grading is going to work from here on out. Tehran, did you have a question?
Yeah. Yeah.
How stupid of me! The big cat and his very sophisticated palate. Silly.
Can most people hear me? You guys are free to talk. It's okay. Thanks, Harmony. If you guys talk over me, I can forcefully mute you. So if you get loud, I'll just make all of you be quiet. So feel free to talk. All right, thanks, Micaiah. Okay, thanks, Yoselin. Okay, most of you can. If someone can help Vitalis, I know Zoom can be kind of a pain to use in the beginning. But so it seems like there's no questions about the research. So I'm going to go back and show you guys some models that have been turned in. So I'm going to go back to screen sharing. And so let's see, who's turned in some models? I think Fifth has also turned in some models. So let's go look at some of these Earth energy models that we've got in. We can do a little bit of critiquing. Harmony, do you mind if I use yours? All right, thanks, Harmony. Tehran, is it an option for the person you're representing? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. If you could either state the question in a different way or type it out. I'm going to show Harmony's model while you're doing that. Either put it in the chat or feel free to speak out. So we have Harmony's model right here. That will show up in a second. And so, let's see. Still loading. All right, so one, we can see that she has chosen to draw it on the computer. I like the fact that it's not just one word answers, that there is some additional information here. So we can just start any part. So we have increasing energy, we have heat from the sun. Earth reflects a small amount of that, and that depends with how high the albedo is. All right, Earth absorbs some of that heat. Earth temperature increases, more ice caps melt, more ocean exposure, albedo levels decrease, and then we have what obviously seems to be a positive feedback loop. The only thing I would add here is, state somewhere that it is a positive feedback loop, but otherwise I think this is a really good model. Good job, Harmony. I like that it both connects to her topic, which is the Earth's albedo, as well as it connects directly to how does energy affect Earth's albedo and vice versa. You're welcome, Harmony. So let's try to see, let's look at a different one. Let's see, let's do some hand-drawn ones. Okay, so Tehran's question was, so in the research doc, you said we must show, I guess, a representative or an organization that is involved in what we're researching. Yeah. So either that could be a group you're representing, like this is like a cause you want to write for, or that could be the organization you are contacting about the issue. Either one works. Presumably you want both. I'm not going to be super picky here, but okay, so it's sideways, which, can I fix that? I don't know. So it's sideways. So we have, this is about agriculture. So we have deforestation, which is the loss of trees, which causes soil erosion, which helps cause climate change. Species go extinct. There's land loss, water pollution, destroys forests. So I really like how complex this is, because deforestation is actually an extremely complex issue. I think the only point I would want to add in is maybe, is soil erosion affecting climate change, or is it soil erosion plus climate change causes species extinctions? Because otherwise, and then fewer crops lead to loss of biodiversity. So yeah, I actually really like this. I would maybe, again, want to see a little more connection to climate change here, like where does climate change play a role? But overall, I think a very well thought out and interconnected system, which makes sense because Earth is a very interconnected system. So I hope you guys are seeing that there's a lot of different ways you can do these models and still have them look good, as all the ones we've looked at so far have. Let's see if we have anything from another class. So again, on that note, if you guys want to post in the chat if there's any other questions about what the models look like. Let's see. I think I've already seen Eric's. It was pretty good. All right, so here we have Eric's Earth energy model, and I think it's also drawn on the computer, so it's taking a little bit to upload. And so this is talking about drought. So let's say evapotranspiration can't occur. I would like a little more information, because I don't think evapotranspiration is a word that we all just know off the top of our tongue. But if this cannot occur, clouds can't form. If the clouds can't form, rain can't fall. If the drought that happens, the drought intensifies, soil is drier. And so we, again, it looks like a positive feedback loop. So again, I think I like this. I would add some things to it. So I'm gonna comment to add, what is evapotranspiration? I'm assuming it has something to do with evaporation and transpiration from plants. I'm assuming transpiration, and just make sure to add in how this deals with or is affected by Earth's energy. So for example, in this case, how this is affected by Earth's energy, you could talk about how if the sunlight increases, droughts are going to intensify, right? The hotter it is, generally, the higher the drought levels are. And so you can have a loop along with this about how as the drought intensifies, it gets hotter. And as it gets hotter, you get less clouds. And as you get less clouds, it gets hotter, and so on and so forth, to help connect energy back into this system. Do you guys want to see more models, or did that give you guys a better idea? I think you can actually click just like emotions in the chat, so you can like do a thumbs up, like, yeah, we're good, or an unhappy face, we know we're not good, just some feedback. All right, thanks, Tron. Because it's really weird trying to talk to you guys, but not actually being able to talk to you guys. So, okay, so I got a little bit of good positive feedback there. Haha, haha, positive feedback now. Okay, anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the actual writing of the draft. So in writing the draft, again, you guys might have been very, not upset, but unhappy with my like, no, it's fine. I really do mean that. If there's anything that's not fine about it, I will let you return in your final draft. I'll talk to you. Thanks, Harmony. Thanks, Vitalis. I really appreciate it. And so I'll get back to you about this if there's anything that I don't like, or don't like's a strong word, or anything that I think can be improved upon. So right here, we have Anna's draft. And so she's already made some of the edits that I did, where I just had helped correct her onto a more formal, you can see all my comments on the side here. So just into a slightly more formal version. I may make some comments on like grammar, little things like that. Or I might do huge sections where I believe this she was making a lot of big claims about problems with population, and just make sure you back up those claims. Again, if you're only telling people that, oh, overpopulation is a huge problem, okay, well, why? Make sure you can back it up. Some ways that you can back up research is just right after the thing you say, you can be like, whoever wrote it, like Smith wrote a paper in 2020 about overpopulation, and then, you know, include like a cited or a link to it or something. So when you are citing your research, and if you need help citing your research, that's fine. You can even just write in your paper, like, need help citing research. If you give me the research, I can help you how to cite it a little more properly. But overall, and then she laid out a very clear plan as far as what she wanted to do about overpopulation, or what are some things that could be done, and some programs we could implement to incentivize not populating the earth. So overall, I thought that was good. Then let's see, who else has turned things in? Nick. It doesn't say you turned it, you clicked turn in, but I don't know if I got anything from it. So make sure if you haven't, go and actually attach something so I can read it. Let's see. So we have Dejanay's here. And so hers is talking about the clouds as far as the negative feedback and the cooling. And so I like how she cites her research here about how, from National Geographic, talking about the computer models that are involved. And so it looks like she's proposing how we want to do light colored surfaces having a cooling effect. So I think the only thing I would have her add here is maybe make a stronger claim about what she wants to do. So for example, so she's saying that light colored surfaces are going to have a cooling effect on the earth. And I think up here, she did a pretty good job talking about why that would be true. I think I would add like what should be done. So, right, you're trying to send someone a message, not just to tell them, oh, I know a lot about this, but to tell them, well, I think we should do more of this. So, for example, there's I think the white roof, not experiment, but I think it's a white roof project, where they are going around and actually trying to purposely paint the roofs of all of these buildings white so that we increase the reflectivity. And so that's actually an active thing people are doing. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to try to go around and cover everything in white paint because it gets dirty. You got to redo it. But that is a project people are doing, especially in larger cities, to help combat the urban heating effect. So make sure, so I think basically between Anna and Dejanay, if they like combine forces, they'd have probably the perfect paper, because I think Dejanay did a good job of like talking about all of this research in here, whereas Anna's paper really focused on what she wanted to be done about it. And I think if you combine those two aspects, both the research about what is going on, why is this a problem, and then the therefore what has to be done about it, basically that's what's going to make an excellent paper. Hey, Elliot. So that kind of makes sense to people. All right, thanks, Vitalis. So again,
hello.
So, and I will post this on YouTube, so if you maybe missed the beginning, you can get more out of it, or if you're like, wait, what did she say? Probably tonight. It just takes them a very long time to compile. And then, oh, right, last thing, is that after you've done your draft, don't really worry about turning in a final draft as much as to make sure you turn in the rough draft. Because once you turn in the rough draft, it's my job. I got to get back to you. So if I haven't gotten back to you and you're like, oh no, the final draft is late, it's not late, that's my fault, don't worry about it. Yes, do turn it in. But I got to go and read a lot of rough drafts. It's taking a while. But what you can do is I'm not going to grade whatever you turn it in to turnitin.com. The only thing you want to do with that is just sometimes when you cite research, you guys accidentally plagiarize. And since we are sending these out, I want to make sure we're not sending out accidental plagiarisms. So if you just turn it in to turnitin.com, and really what you're looking, I'm pointing at the board and I'm not screen sharing. Sorry. I'm getting mixed up here. So for turnitin.com, that's an ugly color. For turnitin.com, I just want you to use it to check the similarity. So if you are doing huge hunks of text where you are literally copying and pasting, that's going to hit the plagiarism checker. And so you just want to make sure that since we're sending these things out to people, probably I'm going to be sending them out over spring break because I'll have the time. And I think I have enough stamps. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I do want you to check the similarity such that you guys aren't accidentally sending out plagiarized things. So if you're like under 20, and you can actually look, they'll highlight things for you. So if you see like a huge thing of text and you're like, oh, right, make sure you can quote people, but make sure you quote them correctly. If you are quoting a direct study, it needs to have quotes, and it needs to either have the source cited, or literally you have to say like this was like as written in this paper. Remember, paper should be underlined or italicized. So it was written in this paper by so-and-so. So make sure if you are copying directly that you're sourcing it, and if you are trying to paraphrase, check the similarity. Did you paraphrase correctly, or did the plagiarism checker be like, no, wait, someone already said that, which means you didn't mix it up enough. So that's the only reason I really want you guys to do turnitin.com, because I just don't want to accidentally be physically mailing out plagiarized work.
That's for our final one?
And then, so for the final draft, again, you don't need to worry about the final draft until I have commented on the draft. So Anna, for example, I've already written all the comments. I've returned it to her. She's good to go forward on writing her draft. If you have turned in a draft and I have not responded, that is on me, and I'm working on it. So don't worry about getting that final draft in. If you're not sure if I've gone, you can always go and look at your draft, and there should be comments written all over it, things selected, things written in the side, private comments to you. It should look different. And then again, if you haven't yet, just check the similarity just to make sure. All right, questions about any of that? Or did we want, can we paraphrase completely and make a whole source page? Yeah, Harmony, if you want to just paraphrase it and then just like include a tiny sources page at the end, that is absolutely okay. You don't have to quote directly. Again, this is your paper. Should it have research? Yes. Does it have to be quoted or paraphrased in any particular way? No, this is your work or your group's work, and you guys can choose to do what you will with it. The only thing I don't want to do is send out plagiarism. or plagiarize works to the public.
Ms. Okoye.
Other than that, there's really not a whole lot of things you could do wrong here. And so again, your actual paper should be the, no, that's 2Ds.
I'm not talking
This is
to you.
who you're actually writing to. So which organization. And so you can just look up, and I think Elliot, I sent you something, I don't know if you saw it, but there's a California wildfire commission who makes policies based on how to take care of wildfires. So if you were doing wildfire research, that's exactly the people you probably want to write to, because they're the ones in charge of trying to make better decisions of how to protect California from wildfires. So this is like who you're addressing it to. A standard opening, so if you aren't writing to a person but an organization, if you're writing to a person, write their formal business name. Like if it's a senator, it'd be Senator such and such. If it's an organization, you would write to the organization name up here. And then a standard address is to whom it may concern. So for example, when I write college, like letters to, not college, except recommendation letters, I always write to whom it may concern, because I have no idea who's reading it. I'm not going to write to UC Berkeley, because UC Berkeley's not reading it. Somebody at UC Berkeley who I don't know who they are is reading it. But it's to someone whom this information concerns them, because they have to know about it. So to whom it may concern is often a standard opening. And so you probably want to start talking about your first paragraph should be about your research. What is the problem? So what is the problem? What's the research behind it? You could also, you don't have to, but you could talk about your feedback loops. You can talk about your feedback loops. If you think your picture looks professional enough, you can actually insert it into the paper. That's fine. I don't know if I'll be able to print in color, so it may come out a little less colorful than you intended, but I'll work at it. So you could put something about your feedback loops, your research. And this may take 1 or 2 paragraphs, depending on how it spaces out. If it's looking like a fat wall of text, find a break in there just to help make it easier to read. Your second or third paragraph, so this is going to be 1 to 2. Your next paragraph should be about what is going to be done, so your solution.
Mr. Okoye. Can she hear me? I don't even think she can hear me.
Bonus if you can make your solution research-based. So, for example, let's say, Anna's was talking about how education and getting women into education normally decreases birth rates, or at least puts off how quickly we reproduce, right? Normally, if someone goes to college, they're like, oh God, I'm going to wait till after college to have kids. So part of her proposal was, how are we going to help girls get into education, therefore put off pregnancy, reduce population? And so she was citing some research about how, well, education is normally the key to reducing, I think she was talking about teenage and unplanned pregnancies. So that was really, I think, great how she brought in the idea that, well, we know from research, and again, I don't know if it was properly cited, so make sure you are citing where you get that information from. But you want to make sure that you're not just like, I think this will work. Maybe, I don't know, let's try it. Like, try to find some reason why you're like, no, this maybe isn't a perfect plan yet, but this is worth some thought. Because again, your goal is to try to think of a solution, and maybe a novel solution that not a whole lot of people have thought about before. Because, I mean, obviously there's things that need to be fixed, and sometimes it's interesting ideas that came out from someone being like, well, what if we did this? That we're like, I wonder if that would work. So feel free to do something that maybe seems a little bit odd, as long as you're like, no, I mean, research-wise, like it should work. No one's tried it yet, but maybe. So, I mean, you guys are teenagers. It's not like you're writing a thesis and someone's gonna be like, that doesn't make sense. No, it's fine. Go for it. And so, like, I might be like, I don't know about that. That doesn't mean you shouldn't write about it. Feel free to write about it. So, and again, so that's why I'm looking, maybe like 2-3-ish paragraphs, depending on how much research you decide to put into it. Do we have any questions about this? All right, I see you, Elliot. Getting some work done over there?
Yeah.
See, I don't see any questions in the chat yet. Elliot, I think, is getting some settings done so he can talk.
Oh, can you hear me?
If anyone has, I still can't hear you, Elliot. You're not muted on my end, though, so whatever it is on your end. Maybe you didn't enable the audio when you turned on Zoom, because you have to agree to certain settings. Feel free to try to type it in the chat if getting to actually talk is proving difficult.
Hello.
Does anyone else have any questions while Elliot tries to keep his question and find a way to communicate? I do want to finish talking about this before we move on to Jocelyn's question about grading and how that's going to work. Which honestly is still kind of a question for me. Still figuring it out, because we keep getting very different information every day. So things are changing every day. I didn't get any new emails today, so. Yeah, so the model of only one per group, yeah, you only need to turn in one of these per group. So that's actually a great question. And so you should be signing these off. You can normally say sincerely is a pretty common one. You can even just write your name. You don't necessarily need a salutations. But so let's say you are saying sincerely. And your name. Make sure if you worked with someone else, you include their name on it. Otherwise, I will not remember. And also, if they helped write it, you should give them credit for helping write it. So you want to say, like, who's writing, and this is often where you would also put contact information. You do not have to put contact information. If you, for some reason, want to hear back from them, you can write, it's pretty standard to write an email. Like, a lot of times my letters, especially say emails to your parents, end with my email or like a way to contact me. Just like when you address them, this is their address. So this would be the place where you could say write, like the Pittsburgh High School address. So, which is something Harbor Street. I don't remember it off the top of my head. So that's where you could write, like, this is where to contact me. I'm probably going to be putting them in a huge envelope that says from Pittsburgh High School, or whichever ones I can send to the same place. Yeah, so Elliot, if you're writing to an organization, the organization name is going to be up here, and then you would write to whom it may concern. So I'm running out of space here. So if you were, say, writing to the California Wildfire Commission, and they're at, I think they're on A Street. They're somewhere in Sacramento. So let's just say this is not the actual address. 123 A Street in Sacramento, California at 95, I think it's 956 something. I don't actually remember the full zip code. But when I went to, if you go to these organizations, they always have a contact us, and they'll often have a mailing address and a business address. Make sure you put the mailing address. If you put the business address, that's where they're located, but they don't actually have mail delivered there. Because I actually think their mailing address was a P.O. box. So up at the top is where you're going to want to put who you're sending it to. And then down at the bottom would be, and this is from who you are. Again, you can put the school's address if you want to. You do not have to. It would just be a way to like let them respond or send you something back if you wanted it. Obviously, with the school year being like it is, I don't know if we'll get anything back this year. Or if we do, you won't know about it for a while. Great question, Elliot. Looks like he is typing and or thinking. Does anyone else have any other questions or things that you want me to cover about the performance test? Any other questions in general? Anyone, can you talk, or is just everyone, did I mute everyone? I'm trying to figure this out. I don't think I've heard another voice.
You muted everybody. Everybody can hear you, but we can't respond to you. You can't hear us.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Settings? You guys are unmuted to me.
So you can't hear us at all?
Yeah, out my room. I'm in class.
This is really odd.
What?
This was working yesterday, so I don't know why.
Leave my door open.
But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and talk.
Okay. Elliot has a question.
Yeah.
All right, so we're writing it in letter form first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so in letter form. Okay, so since I'm writing to like the organization, what you gave me, so that's where I write it to. Okay, and now for our research, right?
Yes.
So I got research, and you know how you said for the first paragraph, what is the problem?
Yeah.
So are we explaining to them what's the problem? Like, how are we explaining to the organization what's the problem going on?
Yeah, or what's your particular problem? So obviously for example, yours, they're the wildfire commission.
So they're trying to help wildfires.
Yeah,
right.
So we understand that wildfires are a problem. But I think your problem is the idea that instead of just fixing wildfires, we should be focusing on what's really causing wildfires, in your opinion.
In my opinion?
Yeah.
The people.
Okay.
Us humans.
So your problem is not necessarily that there are wildfires. Wildfires happen. So your problem would be to talk about, well, what's going on with people? Why are the people the problem?
Oh, okay. So we explain to them what my problem is with wildfires.
Yes. And then you go back, okay, well, this is the problem. These people are the problem. Well, this is how we help these people fix the problem.
And which is on the second paragraph or third paragraph.
Yes, depending on how much space you needed to explain what the problem was.
Oh, okay. All right. That's because I was kind of like, what is the problem? I mean, they should know the problem already. If I don't know. I was kind of overthinking the question, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't need to explain to them that wildfires are bad. I think most of us get that. I think what you'd want to explain is, well, these are why I think the wildfires are particularly bad. Here's some research to support my opinion. And then here's what I think should happen based on what we know about the problem, or what I know about the problem.
All right. So what is?
So let me specify. So paragraph 1 and 2 is what is the problem that we can fix? Like, we can't stop all wildfires, but there are some things we can do to alleviate them. We can work on some things to help make it so they're less bad, they aren't as big. So, and then again, to bring Anna's one on overpopulation, she brought in the idea that, yeah, there's more population. More population often leads to economic disparities. So the more population is, the less evenly the wealth is spread, which leads to more poverty and more people in dire situations. It's harder to produce things when you're producing for that many more people. And so, yeah, we get that it's population, but she broke down, well, this is we can all say, oh yeah, overpopulation is bad, but she broke down what is bad about overpopulation.
Okay. So that's basically what I was saying. So we all know wildfire is bad, but I'll have to break down what is bad about wildfires.
Yeah, or what is making these wildfires particularly bad.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, yeah, so each one of yours is going to be very, very different. Or what Harmony was doing, ice albedo, and a lot of people are, which is fine. And so, the problem is the ice is melting. What's bad about that? And so the problem, the ice melting, is you can talk about sea level rise, you can talk about effect on the animals, you can talk about the reduced albedo, therefore increasing the already increasing temperature increase. So, because if you just say, oh, the ice is melting, it's bad, yeah, what's bad about it? Kind of explain, and then how can we try to fix what's bad about it?
Oh, okay. I think I'm starting to get it.
All right, excellent. Oh yeah, Harmony, you
She
absolutely.
can hear us now?
Yes.
Oh, what was wrong with it?
Me, I was the problem. That was the problem that needed to be fixed. So Harmony, yeah, thank you. You're right. It was my computer. So you can absolutely address a different approach than another organization is doing. So if you were writing to an organization that's already, say, trying something, and you're like, hey, that's great, but I think you should do this, that's perfect. That would be wonderful. Feel free to write about that.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions or things that I can clarify for you guys?
No, I think I'm good, Ms. Okoye. You helped me a lot. Helped me out a lot.
Great to hear. Elliot, tell your mom that she's great, and
Mom, she said you're great. She said you are too. Did you hear?
Yeah.
And then
she's welcome to contact me anytime.
Okay, of course. And then so all right, so we'll turn in the final draft and I'll turn it in.
Yeah. So
yes and no.
So the final draft for turn it in is just for you to check similarity. I don't want to send out something that's been accidentally plagiarized because I'm also putting my name on it. So that's just to check, did you either cite things? Did you paraphrase it correctly? That's just to check we aren't sending out plagiarism work. You actually, for grading purposes, please turn it in on Google Classroom.
Oh, okay. And you want our rough draft before our final draft, right?
Yes, please turn in your rough draft, and feel free to put off your final draft until I read your rough draft, and feel free to send me harassing emails about how I haven't read your draft yet. It's been in there and I haven't done it, because you're right. I haven't done it yet. Part of that is my laziness, because let's be honest, we're all like semi on break mode, even though it's not break yet.
Yeah.
And then part of it is because I have been helping all of the other teachers get their Google Classroom set up, because most of them are brand new to it. So I'm semi in charge of about 10 classrooms right now. So it's been a little chaotic.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of classrooms.
Yes, it's a lot of students I feel responsible for, which is stressful. But I think I got most of the other teachers going and okay with their Google Classrooms. I've been helping my mom set up things because her school's out too. So
Your mom's a teacher too?
yes, my mom's
Oh,
a
damn.
That's cool.
so yeah, she's up north in Lincoln. But yeah,
Oh,
if you look up JACOY in the California Teacher Commission, there are 2 JACOYs that teach in California, me and my mom.
oh, that's dope.
So
Okay,
So-
but I think I got a better picture now because I was really lost, Mitchell, like really
yeah,
lost.
and you were not the only one.
Yeah, but I think I got a much better picture of what to write. What is it? Yeah, I wrote it down. What is my problem? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cole. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
What does everything do?
What does everything do? Oh,
No,
it
what
is
is
everything.
Oh, are you gonna talk about the grading?
Yeah, so I'm gonna really quickly talk about grading. So, okay, so let's be clear, nothing is actually finalized with how the rest of the school year is gone out. The district is scrambling. I, in fact, have been in a lot of ways told not to disclose information to you guys because we don't know exactly at this point in time.
My econ teacher said that she's doing a pass or fail.
Yeah, and so
Oh, my Spanish teacher said the same thing.
And so what it's looking like is probably, not for sure, but probably going to happen is things are going to be graded on more of a pass, no pass system, which, are you guys familiar with what that is?
No.
You either pass it or you don't.
Yeah. So, yes. It's actually very common in colleges. You can take not things that are needed for your major, but let's say you're like, oh, I need like 3 units so that I fulfill the 12-unit full-time student thing. And you're like, I'm going to take this random beer making class. You can take that pass, no pass, because you need the credits. You're supposed to pass it, but you also, you don't need an A. You just need like a C minus. And so what's considered pass is anything A through a C minus. Normally D and F are considered no pass. That may differ for different teachers. I don't really know how that's going to work right now. I have never graded anything pass, no pass. I've taken classes pass, no pass. And at least at UC Davis, passing was A through C minus, not passing was anything below a C minus, EF. So that's probably what's going to happen. And so realistically, what that means for my class is if you are turning things in, you're going to pass. If you are not turning in anything or turning in complete crap like gibberish, you obviously didn't think about it, no pass. So as such, I'm going to probably be, I'll be assigning little things, but I'll probably be saying that, oh, I'm assigning this because I think it's important for your learning, but I'm only really going to be looking at these big assignments. So I am going to check that you are understanding things. So as far as passing, turn things in and try to check, are you learning anything from this class? Probably. We're going to be not learning as much because we're all at home now. But the goal is that we're still learning something. So as far as after this is done, and I think as a physics department, we decided to kind of like give you until after spring break. And then after spring break is when we're going to introduce new material. So after spring break, you can expect us to start doing electricity, magnetism, time willing, waves.
So that's after this?
Yes.
Oh.
So
All right.
what that's going to be, because originally we would start you out with labs and we can't. Although if you have PVC pipe and wool at home, you can do a lot of these at home. They're pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I think I got that.
So yeah, it's, you just need a PVC pipe and like some clothing, especially winter clothing. This is cotton. Wool works really good. If anyone has like any old fur coats, like don't mess them up because those are expensive. But if you rub PVC on them, you get it nice and staticky, and then you can make saran wrap float, have aluminum can races across the floor, lots of things.
I remember seeing a video about bending water by using static electricity.
Yeah, so probably the first thing we're gonna do is like an inquiry lab where I'm gonna have all these videos on like an interesting thing, and then you're just gonna be like, okay, this is what happened, this is what I think is maybe happening, and then we'll probably have another class discussion or something going over what is happening. Is that the apiary? So we might have some people coming to take our bees, in which case I might need to leave soon.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to be going into electricity, then we're going to go into how electricity works with magnetism, because you guys have all hopefully played with magnets sometime in your life. If not, get some, they're fun. But what you may not know is how electricity and magnetism are extremely related. And that's in fact has enabled everything in our lives to work. Like, thank God, the internet and electricity, and all of that is supplied by electromagnetism. All generators run on the ideals of electromagnetism. And so we'll learn about that.
Don't also speakers use magnets?
Yep, all of your speakers have tiny magnets. If you ever are not sure, hold up a magnet to your speaker while it's playing music, and you'll be like, oh wait, nothing's happening anymore, because your magnet just, made that other magnet not move anymore. But maybe don't, because you might actually fry your circuits depending on how weak they are, so like, maybe don't. But I'll probably at least I'll do a speaker dissection, I gotta go find a speaker to destroy, or I'll post a good version of a speaker dissection where they show you. And you can actually build your own speakers. We are going to do some circuits, not as much as we normally do, because I normally teach you guys how to wire circuits. But we can't do that, and it's extremely hard to learn. Well, not extremely, but it is much more difficult to learn on your own than with me. And then, yeah, Cameron, it's fine if things are late. I'm really not worried about late work. If you just never get it in, that's going to hurt you. But turn things in, keep working. I get that it's a weird time. There are some days where you're going to be oddly busy, even though you're stuck at home. And there's some days where you're like, I have nothing to do. Do your homework. I have been oddly busy because setting up Google Classrooms is apparently extremely time consuming. And helping old people how to use technology, it takes a while. But yeah, let's actually check on the bee situation right now. Oh, they're mostly gone.
What happened?
So
a whole bunch of bees just came attack you? Attack your house?
That tiny thing of bees.
Yeah.
There's some flying and you can't really see it. They've really calmed down, actually.
Really? It was a lot?
I dare not step into my backyard for a while.
Oh, dang.
Basically,
bees are good, though. Bees are good.
Yeah, I'm not going to hurt the bees. But basically,
move, Mr. O'Coy.
Anyway, this whole area.
If you don't move, you about to get stung, Mr. O'Coy.
This whole area was covered in bees. Like, this entire section of the wall was just covered in a mat of bees. Oh, no. And there were bees flying all over in the backyard. So we called someone. Huh? Yeah. So it looks like probably what was happening, they swarm a lot of times in the spring.
Yeah.
And so basically, it's the original queen bee has laid new baby queens, and it's
so they like doing a little ceremony.
Yeah, and basically it's move out time. Like
they're doing a little queen bee ceremony right now.
Yeah, so they're like, "Oh, you're now a new queen bee. Like it's time for you to go out on your own and make your own."
And they chose your backyard.
Yeah. So they put their backyard inhabitant. So we're like, "Oh, let's close all the windows." Okay. So yeah, so they had a little bee party and a going away ceremony for their new queen. So she's probably already left now, and that's why it's died down. She's probably already left the building and is finding a new house to live in.
Oh, Ms. Jokoy.
Yes.
I don't have a phone to post on the social media thing.
Oh, so you don't actually have to post it.
Oh, for real?
You can like do a dummy post, like you can just make a picture of what your post would be, you could make a video that you might post. So like, right, it's social media. You can like post pictures, you can write stuff, you can post video. You don't actually have to post it anywhere. You have to in some way allow me to see it, whether that be a screenshot or attach a picture or attach a video, but you don't have to post it.
What if I like recorded myself and I was like, stop wildfire, like do something like that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then just send it to you like on Google Classroom or something?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay.
So I know I kind of gave you guys a lot of freedom here, which a lot of you found scary and intimidating.
Yeah.
But I really want you guys to like find something that you're like, oh wait, this is an issue. Oh, I'm kind of interested in this. Oh, why aren't people doing this? Or why don't people know about this? And then do it in the way you want to do it. So that there's not like one wrong answer if there's anything. Again, since we sort of have the luxury of like, I can't really make you do a whole lot of labs. There's not like, we have to do this, we have to do this. We're sort of freestyling it. So I'm like, if you do something wrong and I'm like, ooh, that, I will message you and be like, hey, let's fix it before I'm like, you get an F. So this class is now going to focus on, hey, this is where we are. Like, how can we make it better? Which is kind of actually what I've always wanted to do. It's just hard to feel like I have time to do that when it always feels like we're rushed for time.
Yeah.
We're just doing what we can, so I don't feel as rushed for time. So I really want you guys to just focus on whatever you want to talk about, what problem you're worried about, how you think we could try to fix it. And then if there's things that I'm like, oh, you can make it better in this way, I will let you know and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, Cameron, so absolutely. So Cameron said, in theory, we could post it on Insta, screenshot it, and take it down. Absolutely, that's fine. I know some people are like, but I don't actually want to post it. That's fine. I'm not here to like make you become a social warrior for your own social media. It's your social media. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's fine. I get it, because some people are like, but like I have like, I'm branding that, and I'm like that's, you don't have to actually do it. That's fine. Just like, what would it look like? Because actually our big social media post is the Waves performance task, which probably will be like your final project for the year, because we're probably not doing finals. We're probably going to do mini quizzes just so we can check like, are you learning things? And so we can put something in the grade book. But probably as far as your final goes, you'll just have like your whatever our last unit performance task is probably going to be your final. So congratulations, you don't have a big test at the end of the year.
Yes.
Expect tiny multiple choice quizzes though once we get back from break, because I want to check like, what have we forgotten? Probably everything. What have we learned? Who knows?
When is spring break? Like, when was it supposed to be?
So spring break was and still is not next week, but the week after. So spring break.
So the second week of April.
Yeah. If you count next week. So it's the week after Easter.
Oh, okay.
So some schools are saying the week before Easter. I think our school was always scheduled to be the week after Easter. So as far as I understand it, again, things are changing almost daily. As far as I understand it, Easter break is still the week after Easter. So we have Easter Sunday, and then you have that week off.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that should be the 10th. Pretty sure.
We're basically on summer.
No, not yet. We are on relaxed schedule. Think of it like it's almost like Black Diamond, where they're like, you only have to see me like twice a week. So we're probably going to do a lot more project-based things like this, just because I can like give you a project and you guys can kind of work at it on your own time, talk to me for feedback. But the system has failed. Let's be honest, the system has been failing us for a long time. Maybe this will be the chance for us to change things up, Harmony. I don't know.
So you're just gonna be grading us now on pass or no pass type of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I personally hate the idea of grading on pass no pass, but I was probably going to grade you guys such that if it would be hard for your grades to drop, but I would try to make it so that by doing things you could increase your grade but not really decrease your grade.
Yeah.
Um,
So is that the best way?
yeah, so we're trying to figure out what is the best way to grade. It does look like the school is asking us to do pass no pass. My issue with that is for like my kids who've worked really hard to get an A. I want an A to show up on your GPA because you worked really hard for that.
Yeah.
Anna, so are we gonna have work still coming in into June 2nd? Great question. I don't entirely know the answer. Maybe. Like theoretically, we still have to be in school until June 2nd. Probably what's gonna happen is like 2 weeks out, I'm gonna assign like a big final project. And then when you turn it in and I'm like, you passed, and then you're like, I'm done. So whenever that time happens, that's probably what's going to happen.
So you know how like for any seniors that are in your class,
Yes.
what's it called? Say like because third quarter I didn't pass your class, third quarter. But like fourth quarter, I do good. Like this stuff, will that like average out to, I don't know.
So yeah, so it would be like a pass no pass for the whole semester.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not just for the quarter. It's like a pass no pass will apply to the whole semester. Obviously, if you were doing well in third quarter, theoretically, you should pass. If you were doing poorly third quarter, but you do a lot of good work fourth quarter, you should also pass.
So like this stuff that we're doing now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for the pass no pass semester. Oh, damn.
Yeah, so because we do give you guys quarter grades, but ultimately those are like checkup grades. Those don't actually.
They're like progress reports.
Yeah, they're like really serious progress reports, and we use them to check progress and therefore make decisions based on your progress. But ultimately, the things that go on your transcript are your semester grades.
Yeah.
And so your semester grades are a combination of 2 quarters, and then what happens.
Okay.
So when and so I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually hand put in all of your semester grades. So I don't just pull what's ever in the grade book and be like, done. I will do that often initially, and then I look at, well, what was your final grade? Did you improve over? Did something happen to you that like caused you to just like, mess up the last 4 weeks?
Yeah.
And then I sort of do a final grade based on like, what was your first quarter? What was your second quarter? How well did you do in your final? How hard have you been trying? And then I put in a final grade. So the pass no pass is probably going to look like that. So if your grade is holding at around a C, you're probably in a good split pace. That's looking like a pass. If you're like in a 30%, you might want to step it up and or talk to me about what is going on there. Because some people just miss.
So kind of third quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Elliot.
The third quarter matters, but it doesn't at the same time because they're switching it to this system.
So it matters because I know what your grade was, but that doesn't mean you can't make it up with fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what you mean. Yeah. So basically, overall, moral of the story is do well on this online stuff.
Yep.
And you will pass.
Yeah, and then again, if you're having any problems, please contact me. If you really need to, like, send me a reminder. If you need to, like, actually call me on my phone, we can arrange things. So, like, I do want to make sure you guys feel supported, even though it's not the most supportive environment we could have picked. But I want to make sure you guys feel like I am here, because I am, and I do want to talk to you guys. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to grade them, but I am going to. Just reading a lot of crap. There's a reason I didn't become an English teacher. I'm like, oh, okay. So now we're going to read a lot of things. But So if I'm a little late on that, feel free to be like, hey, you didn't do it yet. That's fine. You're right. I need you guys to bug me just the way I bug you guys to do your work. So we'll keep each other accountable.
Oh, okay.
You want to grade them for me, Harmony?
Okay, so I think I got this one down though. This project that we're doing.
Awesome. And so ultimately what you should plan on is I'm going to go into turnitin.com and extend the final due date just so you guys can mess around in there and not worry about not being able to return anything in. And I can extend it on Google Classroom. My main thing is, moral of the story, please turn things in before spring break. Please turn in your drafts by the end of this week so that I can read them and you can get final drafts in before spring break, because spring break is probably when I'll try to start printing them somehow and mailing them out. Like, I have stamps. I don't really have a place to print them right now, but I'm working on it.
Do you have a Turnitin class code?
Yes, I'll resend those out over Remind. I think you should already be in there, though.
Actually, I think I might be.
If you have turned in anything to turnitin.com.
I should be in there?
Yeah. Yes, AJ?
Oh, okay.
AJ. Thank you. All right. So again, I hope this was helpful. I know grading is still kind of an interesting question on how things work. You're fine. And we'll probably do we will do another Zoom meeting next Tuesday and Thursday. The times might be varying because as more teachers do these, we're going to see more conflict, which means theoretically I might start doing them at when your actual class time was. So we'll see. Just so that we don't run into but my teacher called me to this class. That being said, I mean, I'm not really looking forward to hosting classes at 8 a.m. So we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people be sleeping still.
Yeah, exactly. So if there are times that would work better for you guys, I'll probably start a survey. Again, these next couple of weeks is fine, but like once we get into new material, you're going to be a little more reliant on this interaction.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be making sure we set up times that work for most people and don't conflict with their classes. I will also be posting these on YouTube after we have them so that you can go back and look. Or if you missed one, you weren't feeling well, family, stuff happens, and so forth. And then probably, this isn't a big deal for you guys yet, but probably starting April 22nd, I'm going to have to switch my schedule because I am going to be going to my parents' house. My dad has surgery on April 22nd. So I've got to be there to help them take care of the house, take care of him, because he's going to need 24-hour care for a while.
Okay.
So I was like, oh no, we're going to go back to school, and then I'm going to have to take days off, except where no one's going back to school. So
how do you feel about that?
Do I agree that we probably need to do it so that we don't become New York? Yes. Does it suck? Absolutely. Honestly, like teaching from home, it feels really nice to not see you guys because, like, you know, I'm pretty used to seeing you guys every day, and now I'm not going to see some of you.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, possibly for seniors, you might just graduate and never come back. So I didn't really expect to not see you guys ever again. But
have you heard anything about the graduation process or?
Graduation will happen.
Okay.
No,
on the date it said it was supposed to?
No idea on that. It just depends how things end up panning out in California. And
that's crazy because like what if kids are like already off doing what they gotta do and then they gotta call everybody back to come graduate? Like
I mean, like, you'll still get your diploma. Like, the graduation is the ceremony. They don't actually, like, if you don't come to graduation, you don't get a diploma. So you'll still get a diploma, but as far as ceremony, they are still planning on doing something. They're not sure how it's going to look. Same thing with, like, prom and senior ball. they still want to do something. They don't really know what that's going to be yet.
You don't have it in the gym. There you go.
I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to do
Let's
something.
go be homecoming.
But yeah, hopefully we're going to have a nice party when we all finally get back to school.
Whenever that is.
Whenever that is. Harmony, New York. If you are easily depressed, don't look up news on New York. New York is not looking good. New York is screwed.
They're bad.
It's bad. Again, guys, do read the news, but also at the same time, don't read the news. Like, don't let it become your whole life. Like, let it go. Do things you enjoy. Learn a new skill. Take up something. I don't know. So, yeah.
But okay, thank you, Mr. Okoito. I think I got it. Like, I got it down.
All right, awesome.
You helped me a lot.
You guys want to see my rat again? Just like.
Oh yeah, let me see that.
I'll go get her.
Before I leave. She got a rat? Ugh. Mr. Okoito got a rat. She got rats.
It's a pretty thick rat.
Oh no. She got Master Splinter. Where's her rat? After I see her rat, I'm leaving.
This is Zora.
Oh my gosh. Miss Jokoy.
Yeah.
Why do you have a rat?
Well, I used
They got the corona.
They really don't.
They got no.
She actually has her own upper respiratory issues that she's had for, I guess, years now. She's almost 2.5. So she's.
That's dumb.
So yeah, she was one of a litter of 20 from a teenage rat mom.
Why not like a guinea pig?
Guinea pigs are kind of, no offense to guinea pigs, they're not very smart. They're not very trainable. So.
But rats are.
Yeah.
I had like I had like 5 pet rats before.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the hood, the projects.
Were they pet rats or were they sewer rats?
Sewer rats in the projects.
They're a little different.
Rats and roaches.
All rats are very smart though. That's why it can be really hard to get rid of a rat infestation.
It's hard to catch them.
Because they're too smart. So yeah. So she's actually probably smarter than my dogs. My dogs are kind of dumb. But she's getting older, so she doesn't really want to do tricks as much, but she knows how to spin. She comes when called. She like handshakes, you know.
They got a long tail.
Yeah. Normally their tail is about the same length as their body.
Damn.
So yeah.
But all right, Miss Okoy.
All right.
Bye. Have a great day.
Have a good day, guys.
Hopefully, the queen bee leaves.
I mean, one of them left because there's definitely less of them, but we're gonna.
All right.
All right. See ya.